Yes, my people, welcome back. Welcome back once again to the Elephant in the Room podcast with your host there, Jervel Tobia. Along with me is Fraka and SB. It's been about 2 weeks since we met, and we made some very bold predictions the last time. I know for me myself, there was I think last week I went 3-0 on predictions with Man
Yeah,
City,
boy. Yeah, I
Man
remember
City
we talked.
drawing, Bayern not going through, and Arsenal going through. So three bad predictions on my end, but we're here today and we have lots to talk about from the Champions League, the Premier League title race, the World Cup coming up. So lots to discuss, and we're just going to get started with some talk from the Champions League. So we had two semifinals, and a lot of people, especially myself, was just saying it's a tale of almost two cities, two different types of semifinals that we saw. I just wanted to get from the guys here just your take on first of all the Arsenal versus Atletico semi-final and what we thought of it in terms of the quality of football, who's going through, and what to expect from the eventual victors Arsenal as they go into now a Champions League final for the first time in about 20 years, and they're pushing also on the Premier League basis. So guys, what we thought of that semi-final, Arsenal versus Atletico?
Well, I wasn't surprised. It was exactly the kind of two-legged tie that you would expect from an Arteta versus a Simeone type game. Um, Simeone tried to win the game in the first leg. He didn't, and he tried to be safe in the second leg. I mean, we saw how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Arteta just made sure that he didn't lose over two legs just to make it to the final because it wasn't open. It wasn't an attacking type of game that we would want in a
Yeah,
semi-final. It was more like jab for jab. Like I don't know if you remember watching Floyd versus Pacquiao all
yeah,
these
yeah.
years ago. Jab for jab. Whoever scores the most points wins the match. That's the kind of game you expect from, especially Simeone. I thought Arteta would have switched it up a little bit, but he was very conservative. I just wanted to just see the game through and make sure that he got the result and he got what he wanted. That's my
SP
opinion.
SP, do you think that the game was marred or spurred by the referee having to intervene on so many cases? Because in the first leg, we had three penalties called, one retracted from VAR, but the referee had to intervene a number of times. The second leg, there was arguably and even in that one, there was a penalty that probably could have been called, and in the second leg, we had another incident where a penalty could have been called. Do you think that the referee was a little bit too influential in these games that it took away from the actual football?
Not exactly, because when you have Simeone um, coaching a team, that's what you expect. It's a lot of start and stop football because that's what his football is about. It's very defensive. It's very, to me, it's very negative. So
Mm-hmm.
you find it's not very free flowing. Now, I actually give him kudos in the first leg because he actually came out with a game plan to try and win the game. All
Yeah,
right, but then I don't know what happened. It's just like that was just a different Simeone. He went to Arsenal and like he had no game plan, like literally no game plan. So I actually went on YouTube right after the game, sorry, and I watched highlights of him as a player, and he coaches exactly how he used to play. Like he just no plan, no special. Like he just plays and he gets his job done. I
yeah.
think he approached that game in a very cowardly manner
Mm-hmm.
because if things went in their favor, they could have easily went to Arsenal with a 3 or 4 goal lead. Easily.
Yeah.
Right? So knowing that, why would you go to Arsenal and play so reserved? He literally had
Yeah.
no game plan, and on top of that, he's already 1-0 down in a semi-final, and you take off your two top goal scorers for the season. Well, not top two,
Yeah.
but your two most influential players for the season. To do what? You already didn't have a game plan. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming his game plan was these two fellas, Alvarez and Griezmann, would come up with something brilliant, and that would result in a goal. And when he took them off, it just took all like their flair, their finesse, their
Yeah.
quality out. Albeit they got a chance after that. His son Simeone got a chance,
Yeah,
but still,
Yeah.
Badat,
and Soloff also got a chance in the end.
yeah, and I mean Badat, they literally did nothing. Like literally
Yeah.
did nothing.
Do
I felt that was a very cowardly approach from him. I mean, it's a semi-final. What do you have to lose? It's either you go
yeah.
through or you go out. I mean,
Yeah.
at that point,
Do you think he came into it knowing the condition of his players? Because if you remember the first leg, Alvarez had to come off because he was injured and he's been nursing this ankle injury for a few months now. The weekend in between the two legs, he did not play. Simeone rotated almost his entire squad for that La Liga game. And Griezmann, although he had a very, very good performance in the first game, he's a player that we were almost surprised to see him play well because he has been on a kind of steady decline, which is why he's moving to the MLS to Orlando FC in the summer. Do you think that he kind of knew the condition of his players, that he was like, okay, you two guys, you have 60 minutes to impact this game because one Alvarez, I don't think you physically can go longer than that, and Griezmann, I don't see you influencing the game that much because again of the physical decline. Do you think that he knew it, and even if you kept them in the game longer, they wouldn't have that impact? And I know there are times where you have players like Ronaldo or Messi who go up 75 minutes without an impact, and you still keep them on the pitch because of who they are. Do you think you would have gambled with a player who's nursing an ankle injury and a player who's running out of gas?
In that
so,
instance, honestly, I would have just started with the youth, let them run, let them try. Because like as we said a while ago, what do you have to lose?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're counting on tired legs or an injured person to get through a semi-final, then you already lose as a coach. You have players on the bench that have energy. Because listen, the game was just a pedestrian game for Arsenal. There was like they was just like going through motions.
Yeah,
Like like when you come when you like a recovery drill when you play a game the day before, and then morning time you come in, you go through a little bit of just to try and get your lactic acid out. The
yeah,
current rest was just getting ball turning around side to side, see what's happening, and that was easy. It was just like nothing. But in my opinion, if you know you have a player who is injured that cannot give you 100%, and another one that just doesn't have the legs anymore,
yeah.
why not play the youth? Let them show them what make the game difficult. All of us have been young and ready to play. When you go get your chance, you show out.
Yeah. So you're telling me if you were Simeone, and Simeone has done this before. If you remember the Champions League final, I believe it was 2014, when Diego Costa had the knee injuries and they gave him injections just before the game. You tell me if you were Simeone that you would bench Julian Alvarez in a second leg semi-final.
I wouldn't bench both. I would have started with one,
Okay.
just to keep the it factor on the field. But you starting with both when you get nothing from either.
Yeah.
You're already playing at a disadvantage. Because of the injury, and like as we said, Griezmann just wasn't up to it in the second
Yeah.
leg. First leg he was brilliant.
It was. Yeah.
Second leg he just wasn't up to it.
SP, what more you think? What more you think Simeone could have done to go through? And we've been. I know your personal feelings about Atletico and Simeone on a whole, but if we look at the history, he's gotten to a semi final last year. Got to, I believe it was a quarter final. They got to. So in the grand scheme of things, it might not be attractive football, but he's getting results. Do you think he could do more, or this is just the maximum that this squad that he has can get him? Even if this squad has two World Cup winners in attack, and you have quality players all around. You have Molina, who's also a World Cup winner in that squad. So, do you think this is the max that this squad can give, and do you think this is just the max that Simeone can give, and it's time for him to maybe move on?
um, definitely the latter because I think he's holding a lot of these players back. And I say that because most of these players, when they go to the national teams, you see how comfortable they are with the ball, and then they go back to Simeone style of football, and it's like they're left to chase the ball for the entire game, almost the entire game. And I don't know how they do it because me personally, I wouldn't be able to do it. If you look at players like Griezmann in his national team, players like Alvarez, these players are used to having the ball and doing things with the ball, and you see it even when they're playing with Atletico. When they get the ball, they still show signs of quality because that's where their strength is, not sitting back and running behind the ball.
Yeah,
And I think they're very limited because I think these players, just like Arsenal can hold the ball, these players can hold the ball. These players can make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passes. But you find that they're so comfortable with sitting back and being, without the ball because that's how they're wired
Mm-hmm.
to be without the ball. Get it, counter. But how can you counter with no pace? Griezmann has no pace. Alvarez, you wouldn't count Alvarez as a pacey player. Lookman has some pace, but you know who else? Cookie leggy
Yeah.
in the midfield. Who else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on. Like, what is your
Yeah.
game plan? Literally no game plan. Sit back and just wait for a chance. Wait for the players with more quality to just create something for you, and that's it.
And that's the problem.
My
What else?
my only playing devil's advocate here, I would say is that a lot of when you look into you're playing a semi final, you're playing a final, yes, the coach has some influence, but ultimately you're hoping that if you have a star-studded front four, two wingers, a striker, attacking midfielder, or two strikers, you're expecting one of those players to have a great game and their moment of quality, their moment of brilliance to get you through. When you look at both legs, you look at Lukman was terrible across both legs. You look at Griezmann, one good game, one game with no influence. Alvarez, just it doesn't work for him. He looked uncomfortable. He looked injured. And on the other side, his son, Simeone, just no influence. So how much is it down to the coach really, and just to his front four with no impact? You have a midfielder in there who should have been moved on by now, Koke. No impact. So how much of it is really down to the players and these front four not having a performance?
I think it's a bit of both because one, you don't want to get benched for not following instructions. And two, I guess when it's in you, it's just in you because if you practice something from, let's say, Tuesday to Thursday, and then that's what you do all the time. Like, let's say repetition is the father of learning.
Right.
So what is instilled into them in the system, even though yes, like you said, Lookman looked horrible. That was not. I mean, I don't see the hype about Lookman. He's not my cup of tea as yet.
Yeah.
But like he was brought in to win these games,
Yeah.
and he was still the third or the fourth best player because Giovanni Simeone had a much better two-legged tie than Lookman.
Yeah.
Griezmann had a better two-legged tie, even though he was horrible in the second game.
Yeah.
And Alvarez was injured. And then when Lookman gets presented with that chance and you can take it, that
And
says a lot.
and he's the big money signing. Yeah.
He's the one they brought in to win those games. Well, not to win those games, like to help win those games because
Yeah.
we all know Alvarez is the man there for now.
Yeah.
I don't think he stays there with Simeone as a coach.
Yeah. Interesting. So now, just from this, I want you to tell me, last one on this game is, what did this game make you feel, especially after the game that you saw on Tuesday with Bayern and PSG over both legs, but especially the first leg. What did that game make you feel, the Arsenal game, compared to what the PSG Bayern game, especially the first leg, make you feel?
I didn't feel no way. Expected,
Yeah.
I guess expected. As the moment I saw Arsenal was on a collision course with Atletico Madrid, I knew this was about to be a very, very sad side of Champions League football if
Yeah.
these two teams were to play a two-legged tie.
Yeah.
I knew that I didn't this nothing in this game surprised me.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
SP, did the PSG Bayern game bring the joy back for you?
Most definitely, I think the Bayern game brought back the joy from most people who enjoy just the attacking side of football, just the more balanced side of football, both because um, both those games, well, battle first leg, the second leg, I think both teams showed that they can defend as much as they can attack. The Arsenal games, I think it was more or less a KG affair, which we all, I mean, predicted. We said the first leg would have been kind of 1-1, 2-1 ish, and the second leg would have been more of the same, 1-0, maybe 2-1. So we all, I mean, it's nothing that we didn't see coming because we know these teams. And I just wanted to step aside and just say, I think it's maybe not bad, but for lack of a better word, it's bad that Simeone has had quote unquote success playing that negative style of football. And I'm
Mm.
glad that we had that other leg which showed us the other side of football, the better side of football. Because like you said, as much as Koke needs to move on, I think Simeone also needs to move on because I think we're getting tired of that negative style of football. I mean, come on.
This guy hates Simeone,
Now
man. This
to
guy
No, no,
piggyback
hates
up
him.
the
no,
piggyback up the word success, Simeone only has like
now I don't
one
hate
One La
Simeone.
Liga, yeah.
one.
I hate his style of football. That's what I don't like, his style of football. Because I think if he puts his mind to it, he's capable and he has the experience and the players and the power to sign players to
Yeah.
play a more progressive style of football. But yet still he doesn't because in his head. Because I am so confused as how Simeone is the highest paid manager in the world. I am confused.
It depends
That
on who your
baffles
boss
me.
is.
And it's a
Like,
big city, Madrid, big stadium, so they
Eh,
can
I
they
mean,
make the money.
come on. I mean, I am so confused. You would think that okay, he's the highest paid because of, or
sucks.
what has he done? What is he doing? It's so negative, man. But I mean, I guess that's part of the politics of the football.
Yeah.
I guess the body's content with what he's doing. So I mean,
Yeah.
And
So
like
yeah,
Jervel said, he brings money to the city because the stadium always full.
yeah,
yeah.
they
So
support him.
they
So
support.
my job on the show is to play devil's advocate. And I just to get your thinking different perspectives and to see things differently. And sometimes I play just out of curiosity, but sometimes I do believe in these things. This one I'm about to say, I definitely don't believe in it. But the word success is relative in itself, because if you look at a team like Atletico and where they came from, before Simeone, this was a team that did not compete anywhere close in one La Liga or even qualifying for Europe at any stage, whether it was the Europa League or even the Champions League. Getting to two Champions League finals, losing both, yes, but getting there is something clubs wish they could. A lot of clubs wish that's a trophy for them in itself. So getting them there. So just look at that track record. Then you have to take into consideration that this is not just the Premier League where it's kind of competitive. You're in a league where you have Barcelona and Real Madrid, and everyone expects every year is going to be one of them. And he has competed. He has made it difficult for these teams. He's gone on and win it. He's gone on and win other trophies in Europe with the Europa League. So this is a coach that relatively has had some success. And also you talk about the style, but you look at a team like Arsenal where people have said that, and I agree with this. I don't like the style of football that Arsenal play. I don't like the reliance that they've had on set pieces. I don't like the negativity and no spark in their play. But yet still, this is now the fourth year that they've competed for the Premier League genuinely, and this year they're probably going to win the Premier League, as much as I hate to admit it. And they've not played any attract. When you watch Liverpool, they give away other goals, but it's a electric football. It's quick. It's skillful players. It's goals. It's goals. It's goals. Man City, it's possession, but also creativity, and you have the wizards like De Bruyne. But in the same sense, Arsenal have also had success, and they have had success. So how much is success relative? Is it just to entertain us, or is it just to really get some results?
Well, football is a results-based
Yeah,
sport, no matter how we look at it. Now, I think success, you have to look at it on a couple levels, a few levels actually, because you have to know what management wants. Of course, when it comes to management, I mean the owners, they would like to see their pockets filled. So stadiums and merchandising, that's a big thing for them. The fans just wants we generally just want our team to win. We don't care about none of that red tape thing where oh this and that amount of money is made and we are very successful first quarter, second quarter. We don't care about that. I want to know when Sunday come and Liverpool playing Arsenal, I beat Arsenal.
yeah,
That's all we care about, the fans. We don't care about none of the other stuff. Success, I don't think Arsenal competing 4 years in a row is not successful to me. If you told me out of the 4 years you had two or
hmm
you had one, and then you place 4 or 5 in the other one, I would take that rather than being second every single year. At another club, the manager is gone
Yeah, after 2, maybe he's gone.
after because you're brought in to win.
Yeah,
When I think the first year was it the first season facing second? Was it It was City, right?
when who beat him? No,
Oh,
yeah, it was City. Yeah.
okay. And that was the year where he beat Pep
Mm-hmm.
and he went on to lose points against the likes of a Bournemouth
Minos.
and
Yeah.
Meadow was like, come on. That was a learning experience, but now by now you should be able to have known because listen, in all honesty, this year Arsenal should have already been crowned the champions. No other team was consistent enough to be this close to Arsenal.
Yeah, everybody's been shit. Everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody has
Exactly.
been terrible football, terrible results, irresponsible
It's been
play.
horrible. This is probably like the worst like football playing season I've ever all the years watching the Premier League.
Mm.
This is the worst football playing Premier League I've ever witnessed in a long time.
Yeah,
The clubs are headless chickens. I don't know what style Liverpool plays. Pep running out of ideas. Chelsea look
consistent.
abysmal.
So, but
Man U,
what I'll ask you, SP, is with it's Fraka saying, it's a results based business, it's professional sport, money is involved, people's jobs are involved, all of that. But then you look at a club like your club, and this is the last thing I'll say before I know we'll get to talking about the El Clasico results in a while. But you look at your club and you look at the frequency with which they get rid of managers, and then you pass on a guy like Xabi Alonso. How much time should you give a coach if he's because second is not bad. I mean, yes, there's a lot of investment. You probably want more, but how much time would you give a coach to show you that okay, he's making progress? Because evidently, if what if Madrid had taken a Arsenal approach with Xabi Alonso, if any coach that's showing progress?
So there's a very easy answer to that. How many times have Arsenal won the league or the Champions League in the last 10 years?
Zero.
All right, because they want to give people time.
Okay.
Madrid is a club who doesn't have that luxury to
Mm-hmm.
give people time, and I'm sure if they had the option to do that with certain players as well, they would have done that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Madrid doesn't have that luxury to to be at the top and to stay at the top. You have to be able to make these type of decisions. So going back to the whole success thing, I think it's most definitely relative, and it involves the board, the president, the fans, and also the players. Because if you look at Real Madrid, Real Madrid going trophyless for the season,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the worst feeling ever for everybody involved. Tottenham plays in fourth in the Premier League. It's like they've won something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Different goals, and
Yeah. Yeah.
the big clubs are more prideful. So they it's like they already know that they are going to make money with the shirt sales in the stadium, sponsorship deals. They know that that's already secured. So they have enough time to worry about, okay, we need to win something. We cannot not win something.
Yeah.
You know? And if you watch Arsenal for a time when they had Arsene Wenger, Arsenal went years not winning anything. And just because they
oh,
were making, a
Champions
whole
League.
ton of money, to them, it was sort of a success and they were playing in the Champions League every
Champions
year,
League. Yeah.
it's in the top four. There's no other league where a team celebrates top four.
Yeah. It's true.
It's fucking league. So I think, success is different for clubs based on the club you are. That would tell you the level of success you want, because like I said to you, Madrid plays in the top three in Spain is different from Tottenham placing in the top four in England.
Yeah.
I think it's the club. I think where the club is, I think it's the board, it's the president, and also the fans. Now, going back to what you said about giving managers time, Um, yeah, that's kind of a tough one because um, you find that certain clubs just have more patience and have more tolerance than
Mm-hmm.
others. Because as much as I think Madrid should have given Xabi, a little more time, because Xabi isn't a man manager. Xabi is a tactical coach.
Tactics, yeah.
Xabi cannot take over no dressing room for you. And there are very few managers that can demand a dressing room, such as maybe you'd say like a Jose Mourinho, maybe a
A Pep
Klopp,
Guardiola.
maybe a Pep Guardiola, maybe a Carlo Ancelotti. So you find very few managers can do both the tactics and both the man management. You understand? And I think it's they put Abelo in a very sad situation, and I think we can't really blame him. I mean, at the end of the day, he's had no experience as a manager in that regard. Yes, he's been in the dressing room where there were big egos, but he was a
Mm-hmm.
player at the time.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have that experience to manage. So I think giving managers time is also relative to the club and what the club intends to achieve. You
Okay.
understand? So yeah.
So
That's I
so so
agree.
a club that did give the manager time, Bayern Munich, they gave, in a league where they normally win it all the time, they gave Vincent Company a year where he didn't win it to build on his squad, and he finally is cooking something that looks very good football, and he came up against PSG in a very very good game. Now, what we saw from that game and what I want to discuss is we saw on display some of the best attacking football, and I prefer a game where it ends five. I think it ended 5-3 rather than a 1-0, 2-0, that kind of score. But what we also saw was some unbelievable wingers on show, and I know we were talking about that in our group chat with the best wingers in the world, and I wanted to get your opinion on that because in that game we saw Desiree Doué, unbelievable. We saw Kavicha Kava. I can't even say his name. Kavicha Kvaratskhelia, unbelievable
Crava,
player.
Crava.
Yeah, so both legs just unbelievable. Michael Olise, unplayable in the first leg. Second leg wasn't his best game, but we know he's a quality player. We saw Usman Dembele, who kind of is a winger sometimes, isn't. But we also spoke about Luis Diaz, who had an unbelievable first leg, and even a second leg, he had opportunities and played well. And I spoke about my boy Jeremy Doku, and I think he's having a good season, and he's finally starting to finish some chances. And just some wingers across the Premier League, across even out of that conversation, you have Vinicius Junior, you have occasionally Kylian Mbappe when he plays out there. But what do you guys think is the top wingers in the world right now, and why you think they're the top wingers in the world right now?
For me, it's Carver, and everybody else is second.
Wow. Okay.
No, it's just that because when you, it's a shame that this boy is a Georgian
Yeah.
because you would have, you see that World Cup,
He would have light it up. Yeah.
you would have liked
If
it
it
up.
was Brazilian, English,
You
Spanish.
watch him play football, and there is no slowing down
Yeah.
in anything. He's tracking, he's attacking, his combination play, he's running off the ball, running with the ball. I I am inclined to say that he is number one.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, well, for me, I would have to agree with Fraka on the number one throughout the season. I think he's been the number one winger. Um, I'll just do like the second and third in my opinion. I mean, we can't take away from Lamin. I mean,
Yeah, I even forgot Lamine
Abundale's in-
Yamal. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, Abundale's injury. I mean, you would have him up there for obvious reasons. And I think in third, um, I think Dewey has to get an honorable mention, but I think for sure Michael Olise
Yeah.
is up there.
I
Um,
think Due is more streaky.
yeah,
When he's on form, he's on form.
Fraka mentioned a few of the good things I think Crava does, which is track back, he attacks, but I think one thing Fraka didn't mention was his final ball. I think that's very important for a winger, and I think that's what, as much as wingers possess all the speed or a little trickery sometimes, the final product I think is the most important out of all of these qualities because when you get into these types of positions with the football that they play now, when you have these types of dangerous wingers, you always get teams doubling up on them. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
even tripling up on them. So when they get that chance and when they're in that position to play that final ball, some of these final balls are very, very poor. One
You're
player, I
talking
mean,
about my boy. You're talking about
no, no, no,
Doku,
Doku.
Doku.
no, no,
Yeah, I
no,
was about.
no, no,
I'm gonna say it. Doku.
no,
Yeah,
no, no.
Doku.
One player that I would have mentioned that I have watched and I've been so disappointed because he does everything right except the final ball. I don't know if you all remember Jesus Navas,
Yeah.
Oh
Man
yes.
City, Spain. Yeah.
Man City.
He only had that one
Yeah.
deep cross.
He
He
would
could.
get into that position to play a final ball, and you would just wonder if that man closing his eyes to play a final ball. Like
Because
what's going on?
he couldn't play the close ball. He couldn't
And
play the penalty spot.
I think Crava has that in his bag where when he gets into that position, he doesn't just panic. He lifts his head up and he picks out a pass. And
Yeah.
I think that's very important because when you get to that spot, your whole team also goes ahead to commit. So you find when you don't play a good final ball, that sometimes leaves you open. So I think that's one of his better attributes, and I think that's what I would have him on top of Lamine and Olise for this season. I think
Mm-hmm.
his final product has been top quality, top class.
Yeah. You see, what I will say, you see, Olise made me a believer. When I saw Olise got the transfer to Bayern, I was like, I mean, he's
What the
been
hell?
decent at Crystal Palace, but I didn't think Olise was as good as what I'm seeing now. And then I watched him a little more this season. I'm just like, this guy is unbelievable. This guy's ability to pick out a pass, to go past players, and that finish that he has, like Robin coming on the inside and finish. I was like, wow, this guy is the real deal, right? But one thing I rate a lot of players by, not just wingers, but maybe especially attacking players, is the ability to fix a bad game into a good game. And what I mean by that is that if you have a bad start to the game in terms of a few odd passes, maybe you miss a big chance, or you just simply not getting on the ball because you get it marked so tightly. How can you influence the game? And then when I watch, if you watch the start of that Bayern game, there were times where people like Dewey was the ball was playing a lot on Cavara's side. You'd see sometimes he wanted to influence the game so much that he would come across just to get involved. It might just be playing a wall pass back, but he's getting involved. He's trying things. He's building his confidence. And we talk about when you're a young player and you're going into a big stage, your coach will talk to you about build your game, make sure your first pass you get it off, build your confidence. And you could see that he grew into the game. And then you saw close to halftime, and even as the second half started, Due just exploded, got the chances like the breakaway. The ability of these players to rescue a bad game or a game where they don't have influence is unbelievable. And I think that's where Olise lost it. Like he had, I don't know if you all saw that clip where they were like, the goalkeeper was targeting his side to play that ball over so that it would be naturally crowded as they take the throw in, so he wouldn't have space
Yeah.
to create. And he was not able to drift inside. He was not able to switch wings with players. You've seen players do that all the time with Neymar. When Neymar wants to influence a game, Neymar would drop deep, Messi would drop deep. They would pick up the ball wherever it is because they're just like, I am the playmaker. I have to be on the ball. And Olise for me it just faded out of the game. He was having a difficult game. I didn't see him solving it. He didn't look like he had any
You,
ideas left. And you
you,
see a
remi- you
guy
remind
like,
me of you remind me of Salah.
yeah, he couldn't figure it out. He was just like, well, I'm having a bad game. I'm having a bad game. When you see, I
Yep.
saw Dewey just finding spots to get on the ball. I saw Kvaratskhelia just trying to get on the ball, make things happen. And sometimes it's defensively making it, but your confidence grows. Even Yamal, I remember Yamal last year against Inter Milan. Man, it was just like this guy was just like, I am winning this game. I am making things happen. Pick up the ball, go past players, make things happen. And for me, Olise just didn't do it. But I will still make a good case for my guy Jeremy Doku, because I think when it comes to 1v1, there's not a player right now in Europe, I think that, and obviously we didn't get a chance to see him at the top Champions League level, as in Man City get into a semi-final and playing against the big teams. So we just have the Premier League data to go off. But when it comes to 1v1, this guy is unbelievable. And yes, the final ball is bad, and it's not as good as Cavarazo or Due, but this guy 1v1 is unbelievable. I've not seen a guy go past people this easily in a long time, probably since Neymar and Messi. And he's getting better at the finishing, so I know it's going to come with age. But 1v1, as in pure dribbling ability, I think this guy is unbelievable.
My knock on Doku, yes, he does goes by his man most of the time.
Yeah.
But if you go by 4 times, and you do the same thing all 4 times with no
End product.
proper result, end product. Come on, switch it up sometime.
Yeah.
Because he goes byline all the time. There's
Yeah.
no one stopping him from getting to the byline.
Yeah.
He can take his time, raise his head, compose himself, and pick out a pass. He just swings his left foot around the ball and Haaland over there somewhere.
Somewhere.
You understand? Somebody
Yeah.
over there somewhere. That's my knock on him. He will get getting by. He's no problem.
Mm.
But at some point, when you get by, you have to compose yourself and pick out a pass. Even when you said his finishing has improved. Guess what? Because he takes his time.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time he takes his time, he gets a good shot off or something good happens. But there's this time, like I guess when he gets the game a little too easy, like like we just say when you get the bois,
Yeah.
when you get the
It's
bois,
juju.
you
It's
just go,
juju.
just go by all the time. But yeah, he doesn't. There's nothing good comes of it.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True. Well, good segue now is he saved a point for us on the weekend, and we've seen that the title race coming down to very very 2 games left for Arsenal, 3 for us. But it's looking almost inevitable that Arsenal win their first trophy in 20 years in a couple weeks. But what do we think of the game so far, but especially this West Ham game? I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the
Yeah,
game
I
or see
did.
the highlights of it, and
I did
especially
see
the
a lot of.
controversy at the end. What we
I
think
saw a
of
lot
that?
of football this weekend.
Yeah,
Um, First of all, it is a foul.
yeah.
Just it is a foul. But you know why it should not have been given a foul?
Why?
Ria did not try to play the ball. He just like he initiated the contact to
Yeah,
get the attention of the referee.
yeah. So
So
my thing is when I look at it, and this is me trying to take my bias for Arsenal or against Arsenal rather off, right? Is
yeah,
that one? The referees have set a standard for corners and set pieces throughout the season that they're allowing a lot of contact, especially for Arsenal. Two,
yeah,
my understanding of the rules is that you call what happens first. Even with a advantage, you try to let it go, but you call the first one first. If a foul, and they let it play on, you take the free kick from where the foul started, not where it ended. So you always go for the first thing first. When I look at that corner, I see Rice holding, I see
and
Gabriel holding.
Trossard,
That's what I see
Trossard,
first, and then I
Trossard,
see
Tross,
Trossard
Trossard had the
holding,
first,
and then I
Trossard had the
see
first hole.
the arm across Rhea. So my understanding is I'm trying to figure out what happens in that circumstance with a referee. Do you call because it's a keeper and we know our keepers are protected? You call it against them, or is it a case where we should have called that first foul when Trossard is holding first?
I think in that case, if the goal wasn't scored,
Yeah,
you would have probably had like the referee like blow like stop the corner,
yeah,
retake the corner. That's my opinion
yeah,
because of so much tussling going on. But the fact that the goal was scored, like he allowed the play to continue.
mm,
So when the goal was scored, when the VAR got in his ear and told him, "Hey, we need to look at the impeding the goalkeeper," which is what the referees are told to go to because 6 yard box, keeper's territory. So that's why I think that they were not looking at what was happening with Trossard and Rice.
yeah,
No, Rice had two. Rice had two.
yeah. It was ridiculous, but
Rice had two.
so
So I think that it was a foul on the goalkeeper. I'm not going to take that away from the rule of the game.
yeah,
I'm just saying that it should not have been given because the keeper did not try. Like, see, like
Jen,
is the equivalent of me going and look for a penalty
yeah,
rather than playing the game.
right, right.
If I
I
played the game, I would have gotten the call. But because I was fishing for the penalty, they
yeah,
would tell me
yeah.
stand up.
SB, I want to bring you in here, and so the VAR it has been around now since 2018. I just looked it up, so it's about 8 years that they've been having VAR. It's gotten better in terms of more angles, and they've had people trained on it, and now you have about 3 referees on it. And it's from day one, it's been controversy after controversy. What is your take on VAR in terms of do you think it has any relevance or any need to stay in the game? Can we do we think it's wrong to take it out because it's like I saw this phrase when I think Mourinho was like, only thieves are upset when you introduce video cameras. And if you do think that it should stay in the game, how do we improve VAR so that there isn't a controversy every weekend, mostly in the Premier League, but just all over, even in the Champions League we saw it. So yeah, answer these questions for me about VAR.
Yeah, so I agree with the introduction of VR. I think it's been very positive for the most part, but I also think just like Simeone, it's very limited. I don't think they're using it to its full potential, and I say that because I will give an example. So let's say the referee calls a foul on the other box, and you have a player like, let's say, Prime Messi, Prime CR7, Prime Ronaldinho, Pirlo. The game 1-1, and you give that, and it was never a foul. And VR, the rule for VR is they cannot reverse that call because the referee already called it. So how can the referee reverse a penalty call, but he cannot reverse a free kick call or a bad corner call? To me, that's limiting a resource that you have. Why not just use it to its full potential? So I think they're not using it to its full potential because a free kick to some players is almost a certain goal. Players like Messi, these types of players that can score these types of goals.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you have VR at your disposal and you give that free kick, and all of us are watching on TV seeing it? It was never a foul, and then Messi comes and scores 2-1. He wins a World Cup, and then now controversy after that. You have threats coming to your doorstep for your family. Why not just? There's an entire VR team. I'm not sure how many there are. Maybe like 4 or 5 of them. Why don't they tell the ref, "Hey ref, bad call. Let's just reset."
So,
Like
but how much time would that take if you have to go over every? Because even
that's what I'm
throw-ins
saying.
now, can be a weapon because teams are launched. So if it's a throw-in close to the box,
How
do we
long?
review every throw-in, every corner, every free
How
kick? How long
long?
would the game
How
be?
long? How long does it take for from the time the referee blows for the free kick, for the keeper to set up a wall, for him to spray, for the
Mm,
man that's taking the free kick to take his time to kick the ball? How much time is that?
that's
A
true.
That's
huge.
that's a lot of time. Between that time, they play the replay about 3 or 4 times already.
That's true.
Yes or
That's
no?
true.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
have four. You have four other officials looking at that replay, saying, "Hey, no, that's a bad call."
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's where you take some of the responsibility of the referee since he's already made a bad call and say, "Hey, no foul.
So you
Simulation or
saying
whatever, no foul."
So you're saying that you want almost VAR to be more into the game, but to be quicker, because I saw this thing on Twitter where people were talking about, let's make it a 10-second rule, that if you cannot see an error, because if it's not a foul, you can see that in one replay that is clear and obvious. So you're saying almost to introduce VR into everything, throw-ins, free kicks, but they have 10
Yes.
seconds. Look at it once. If you can, I don't want no slow motion. I don't want, how cricket have the black and white Hawkeye. We don't want none
Mm-mm.
of that. If you cannot see it in
No,
10 seconds, then that's it. It didn't
but
happen.
they don't even need 10 seconds for that because for the corners, especially the corners, my goodness, come on, a corner is a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah,
A free kick is a goal scoring opportunity. Why are you all allowing the mistake to happen when you all have that type of technology at your disposal? Use
true.
it.
It's been
Use
wasted.
it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's there at the end of the day. So they are limiting something that they should be using to its full potential. So as much as I agree with it being there, I think it needs to be used a lot more than it is right now because they
yeah,
are giving the referees too much leeway to make more
yeah,
mistakes. The VR was introduced to have less mistakes, yet still you having almost the same amount of mistakes. I mean,
yeah.
come on.
especially when they send the referee to the screen.
Yeah. Now, that's a bit different because I think showing something in slow mo is a bit different from showing it in real time. So I think that in itself is a little. I mean, you can use slow mo to see if the ball came off somebody or a hand, but in terms of a foul, momentum is something that makes it look worse when it's slowed down. Because most of these things are players just coming together, and the
Yeah,
momentum makes it look worse than it actually is. So, I mean, that's in the here nor there, but I just think that they're not using it to its full potential. That's all.
Okay, okay, I respect that. Fraka, what do you think?
Um, I guess I agree. VAR is not it's not all bad. I mean, the way that it's used is the issue. The my knock on it initially was that it's still humans determining what it's supposed to be from their point of view. Now, by now, 8 years in, we should have already figured somewhere around that. Because if, say, for instance, we're a Freeman team on a VAR and we decide that, oh my God, this is offside, right? Just
Hmm.
because the ball is played backwards or, the players leaning forward. And that same play on another Freeman team, they're going to say goal is good. We
Yeah,
see it happen too often. It's not consistent with, especially offsides. I don't know if you already noticed that. It's not really consistent. As I don't know if you was it this weekend or last weekend. I think it was the view of the keeper. I think so. A
yeah,
player was in the way of a keeper on a goal.
yeah. It's a
It
lot of
happened to I think
subjective stuff. Yeah,
exactly. It's too subjective, and I think it wasn't called. And I think I was mad because I was like not really mad. I was like, but look, but they called Van Dijk on that twice this season, and it's the same thing.
yeah,
So why is it not a goal for this side and it's a goal for that side? It's the same scenario, and the broadcast teams do such a good job of like reminding people of this has happened like 7 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago, same
yeah,
scenario, and then it's a different outcome. So for me, consistency, maybe have more training or stop having actual referees in the VAR booth, like have VAR specialists.
yeah.
Because the referees get a little too emotional for me, especially that Chris Kavanagh fella.
Because
I don't
when
know.
you look at sports like cricket, and that's probably what I know best outside of football, the review that they have is very, very good. There's no controversy when it comes to reviews in cricket. The only you
Because
have
it's tech.
Yeah, you have free
It's tech.
reviews. The guys on it is not necessarily umpires. They're tech guys. They go in
Exactly.
there.
It's
You
tech.
can check
It's
if you
tech.
tips the ball. They can see it. If the catch bounce before it enter your hands, they can see it.
Yep.
It's quick. It's like I know it's also very good for tennis, but for cricket especially,
It's fully tech.
I never knew any controversy around reviews in cricket. Is the only thing they were saying is that why we only have free, because you only give them
Yeah.
free. But in terms of
It's
when you review something, you will know for sure if it's right or wrong. There was never any controversy.
yeah,
So
it's fully tech in cricket. Cricket, tennis, these are fully tech
No,
yeah,
I
when it
think
comes to
because
review.
these sports too are very straightforward. These sports don't have any contact
true. That is
or
also true.
anything like that. These are very straightforward sports. So that's maybe why. So
So
yeah,
it's easier to make a
yeah.
decision
Yeah,
on that than
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because now, like, you have referees who would naturally allow more contact. Some will not allow that much contact. So when it comes to stuff like penalties, it's always like, oh, is that for me as a referee? Because just as a player, I play with a lot of contact. If I see somebody go down, I'm just like, but there are some players who they'll see a little contact, they'll resist it. So it's very
Mhm.
subjective now. And even like with handballs, it's like, how
oh,
intentional is it? Is that natural position? Is that so many things that people just like make it
they
subjective. So
definitely need to review the handlebar rule.
yeah, it's
They
so
definitely need to
inconsistent.
review.
It's ridiculous. And then we have another big international tournament coming up, so we'll see. We'll expect plenty of controversy when it comes to VAR.
Do
With
we?
that, good segue. But just before we get into that, I do want to touch briefly on the El Clasico. We had yesterday we had Barcelona becoming back-to-back champions of La Liga, and then we have Real Madrid with so much controversy, so much making the news for the wrong reasons. For me, what I saw in that game is one team that had an identity, one team that was together, and another team that was almost leaving. And even saw it with Vinicius Junior pointing or making the 15 sign to represent the Champions League Real Madrid have won, and one team that's living off of what they've done, not what they're doing. And as a Real Madrid fan, SP, I just want to ask you, where does this team? What did you see in that game, and where does this? I know we've asked this the last time, but where does this team go from here?
Yeah, I the team did what I really expected them to do. Go out there and try to put up a fight. But I mean, in the end, you had a team for the first time ever being able to win the league at their home stadium in a Clasico.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
I think Barca just had more, I mean, motivation to go out and win that game. Madrid tried. They were trying
Had
in
some
foot,
chances.
but I mean, overall, I mean, I didn't expect much from them because of the whole training ground bust up and the fact that we had a few players out injured, and then you had Asensio coming in last minute. I think he was extremely poor.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I didn't really expect. I expected him to play for Pride because
yeah,
as anything else, Real is a very prideful club. But I didn't really expect anything in terms of a major fight. And I mean, kudos to
what?
Barcelona for going back to back. And from here, I mean, based on who we hire as a manager,
Mm-hmm.
I see rumors about Jose Mourinho. Um, I think he would be a good option as of right now
Yeah,
because as much as he may not come in and win things immediately, what he will do is he will come in and set it up for the next manager to come and win something. So, yeah.
so just like what positives can you take from this season for Madrid? Because you have controversy off the pitch. You have Mbappe, who's been, for me, from what I've seen personally, very underwhelming. Except obviously when they play against City, he's always on his best game. Any Madrid player is always playing their best game against City. But not a lot of positives for me looking on the outside. But you as a fan, what positives do you take from this season if you're Real Madrid?
Very few to be honest. Because of all the injuries that we've been having, we've never had a fully fit squad. And then the whole manager situation. But I think that the few positives that we can take is that players don't want to leave just because we're in a slump, and the fact that we have the emerging young players coming
Mm,
from the academy and being given that chance. So eyes are on them. So I'm hoping they're given more of a chance because they would they will fight more than someone that you would have bought for 50 $60 million. So I think these are the two positives that I can take. I'm hoping that because of us not winning, a positive that may come from that is we might be active in the transfer window for players that we actually need rather than players
yeah,
that we just want. So I'm hoping these back-to-back seasons with no trophies triggers that from our board that we actually go for something that we need aside apart from what we just want and just being greedy.
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Fraka, what did you see in that El Clasico game?
Well, night and day. Um, like as we said, Real Madrid did try. They did with the best with what they had. There's a lot going on with them. Barcelona was just hungrier, especially in that first half. I do think that in the second half, Madrid gave a better account of themselves. Like they did create a couple chances, half chances. They go
Mm-hmm.
into the game well. Um, Trent had a good game. I can say that. I think he was in the first half. He and who's number 21, Brian Diaz. He and Brian Diaz did like come in to play like they knew they were in a Clasico, but the others are like Vinny was like stuck in his head. I guess he was playing the off the field game rather than on the field game as usual.
Typical, yeah,
So, but Barcelona was just hungrier, man. And like as you say, you get a chance to win your a league title in your home stadium in an El Clasico. That probably like never gonna happen again.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
message was clear from the onset.
yeah.
As far as moving forward for Real Madrid, like I told you the last time, I think the only way forward, one has to go, the seven or the 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work with the two of them. They could bring Mourinho mixed with Sir Alex, roll a little bit of pep inside of that.
They
It's not
can't
going to work.
solve that.
Unless unless the two of them go up and realize it's not about them, it's about the shirt,
Yeah, yeah,
then they're gonna have that problem no matter who is in that dressing room.
yeah. True.
So that's my take. That's my take on that.
SP, I want to do a quick fire with staying or going for the Real Madrid squad. So I'm going to go for the squad and you just tell me stay or go. Courtois,
Yeah, sure. Stay.
Lunin,
Stay.
Dean Hoyston,
Stay.
Eder Militao,
Oh, stay.
Raul Asensio,
Definitely on loan or just leave the club.
Antonio Rudiger,
I think stay for one more season.
David Alaba,
Definitely go.
Alvaro Carreras,
Stay.
Fran Garcia,
Go.
Fulan Mendy,
If the injuries continue, go.
Trent,
Stay.
Carvajal.
Well, he's already leaving, so
Well, yeah.
yeah, he's
Chouameni,
already. Um, stay.
Valverde,
Stay.
Camavinga,
Loan or go.
Sabios,
Go.
Bellingham,
Stay.
Goulet,
Stay.
Vini,
Stay.
Rodrigo,
Stay.
Mastantuono,
Loan.
Brahim Diaz,
Stay.
Mbappe,
Stay.
and finally Gonzalo Garcia.
Stay. Stay.
Wow,
Stay.
Gonzalo Garcia stay. I know a lot of people will, a lot of mid-table clubs were considering him coming over. Tottenham was if they stay up, they will. I saw the rumors of bringing him over to the Premier League. So
Mhm.
yeah, all right.
Tottenham
So,
already have 17 strikers,
and none of them can score a goal.
and none of them can score a goal.
So we talked a little bit, and I know we coming up on an hour mark here, so it's a good time I think for us to bring this up. Is today May 11th marks 1 month away from arguably, not arguably, but by all metrics, whether it's size, viewership, participation, reach of countries around the world, the biggest sporting tournament in the world. The World Cup comes to the North American continent 1 month from today with the first game, Mexico versus South Africa, a replica of the 2010 opening game in South Africa.
Waka waka.
And from all accounts, even from myself and Fraka, I don't know what it's like in Georgia, but I can tell you here, there's no World Cup hype. I don't know what it is like in St. Lucia, SP. No World Cup hype. People talking about the Premier League. People talking about Madrid and Barca. People talking about the Champions League final. People even talking about the Women's Champions League final. No disrespect to the women, but very few people are talking about the World Cup. And if they are, it's for all the wrong reasons. What is going on with the World Cup, and what are we going to be seeing in a month's time in North America?
Oh, why? But in Georgia, they're definitely getting ready.
Okay.
I can tell you that. Infrastructure wise, they're definitely getting ready. The hype, everyone is just talking about the pricing of the tickets,
Mm-hmm.
the quality of the games that they're gonna have in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think there was no reason why they should have expanded. That's just my personal belief.
Mm-hmm.
It's I can tell you, I don't know, like I'm familiar with a lot of like Caribbean people. So we as football fans are looking forward to catching a game.
Right.
But to say that generally,
Yeah.
there are people that don't even know the World Cup is coming to Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. And SP, we had some preliminary squads come out over the last couple of days, and your team Brazil released their 55-man preliminary squad, and the notable inclusion in there was Neymar. And we know Neymar has been going back and forth with Ancelotti about, well, not really verbally, just like he's not sure if he's going to be included. If you're Carlo Ancelotti today, are you taking Neymar to the World Cup?
So I think the final few games of the season would tell me if I would. I still don't think he's not even maybe 80%. because the league that he's playing in, I, to be honest, I believe that they're just going easy on him. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen highlights and I've seen him, and it's like you
He
don't get
walk
the
in.
intensity that you don't get the intensity that you definitely don't get that intensity that you will get come this World Cup. I can guarantee you that. So I think being where he is right now has not fully prepared him. I think if he was somewhere else, it maybe would have.
Yeah.
But I mean, including him on that 50-man squad isn't the worst thing. But I honestly I don't expect to see him in the final squad.
Wow. So, because you look at squads around the world, and this World Cup is almost like a swan song for a lot of big stars. You see James Rodriguez getting signed again with Minnesota and getting back into form, and had a good game over the weekend for Minnesota FC
Didn't he just
against
lose?
Austin. Did they
Didn't he just leave?
leave?
Yeah,
What you mean?
he just left. He left.
Yesterday.
Yeah, he
James
left.
Rodriguez
Yeah, I
Yeah,
read that he left.
yesterday.
left to go where?
No,
He just left.
he just um terminated
Contract
his
termination
contract.
contract.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah,
saying he played a.
you saw it yesterday, right?
I did, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Let me look that up. But yeah, I mean, but he had a good game on the weekend. And then Messi's like he's in Argentina's preliminary squad, but he hasn't confirmed he'll be at the World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo is now 41. He's probably going to make Portugal's World Cup, but he probably doesn't have another one in him. So do you think it's just one of these things where you bring Neymar on because he still has the quality? We think maybe not sustained quality over 90 minutes, but he might give you a spark, especially in those tight games. If you remember the game against Croatia in the last one,
Mhm.
but you saying you would not bring him to the World Cup.
No, 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 no. I said I don't expect to see him being picked on the final squad. But left
Ah,
hand to me,
okay.
I would bring them out with one leg.
Wow.
I can
Yeah.
guarantee you. I would bring them out. Nima could have 8 toes. I would have brought Nima. I can guarantee you that. That's how bad the
Because
quality is
yeah, I was
in
just
the.
about to say because you look over and you look at who are the attackers that Brazil are going to take. You have Igor Thiago that people are saying are going to lead the line, and I've seen this guy play for Brentford on numerous occasions. Thankfully against Man City is he did what I expect, which is not quality. He had chances, can't finish. I don't see. You have Martinelli. I'm not impressed. You have Rafinha who's coming off an injury. Who knows what we'll get? There was a time when Rafinha was
Yeah.
in form. You have Vini
Yeah.
who is hit and miss with Brazil. So it's like
Cunha. Yeah, I
Cunha.
mean,
Cunha scoring, yeah,
So
João
who do
Pedro.
you? Yeah, well, Joao Pedro is having a decent season, but who else? You know?
yeah,
Uh,
I don't see how these players will mesh yet in that front three because you watch the game against Croatia and France, and my goodness, yeah, nah, that's going into a World Cup with these options. Yeah, I don't think I think other teams that are not ranked as high as Brazil, but they have the chemistry within their front players. I think they have a better front three than
and,
Brazil just because of their
and
chemistry.
Yeah,
that's where Brazil has faltered. I mean, they've always made it, and then as soon as they get to a team that has chemistry, they look ordinary.
yeah.
Very, very.
But Fraka, we also saw Paulo Dybala not making that preliminary squad for Argentina. What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think he played himself out of the squad
Yeah.
because Dybala, in
Where
my
does he play? Where does
opinion,
he play now?
he plays at Roma.
Roma. He's still
Roma,
at
no, yeah,
Roma.
yeah, Roma.
Yeah, and now he's had a transfer saga with for going to Saudi
Okay.
that fell through. That's how he ended back at Roma, and he didn't even get that much playing time with Roma. Dybala has been potential for way too long. He has been searching for a home and not
Hmm.
trying to make a club. Yes, at Juventus, he was going great, and then he wanted more money, and then he got sold to Roma, and then he wanted more money, wanted to go to Saudi, and I get it. I get it. I also get it. But with what Scaloni is a very structured coach.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most structured coaches on the international scene. He doesn't like distractions. He likes his squad balance. He likes people that want to come and play for the shirt.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how talented you are or what you give. It's all about when you put on the shirt, what are you going to give to the team? And you can see from his squad selections that he doesn't pick names. He gives everyone a chance and then he chooses from what he sees when he gives the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So Dybala not playing a lot of consistent football over the season is what caused him to not make the Argentina 50, not making a 55-month score,
Yeah,
55
that's telling in itself.
at the peak of your career,
55
basically,
people and you can't make it. Yeah.
and you can come on, bro. That's like I can I don't even if I were to step out right now onto a field and they were telling me that they're gonna pick 55 people
And I
before
cannot.
me today, I will feel some type of way.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Well, we look forward to, I think that the squads have to be officially in 9 days before the World Cup, so that'll be the 2nd of May. So we'll
Yeah,
have a
I think they
discussion.
play. I think each team plays like two friendlies.
So there's a few friendlies. I'm trying to go to the Brazil Egypt one that's close to me in Cleveland, so I'm going to try to catch that game. But a few teams have their squads to select on by then, and some teams will release it not officially, but they'll put it on their social media. So we'll have a discussion about that, and I'm sure there are going to be some notable exceptions, just on player form and maybe player fitness as
Injuries,
well. So
them soft tissue injuries.
yeah, so they're monitoring a few now. So we'll look to these, especially guys like Yamal.
Estevao,
Related to that.
Estevao was officially ruled out. He got hurt again.
Wow. So just
So
there's bad news for some people, and again, it comes every 4 years, so it's just heartbreaking. You don't know where you'll be in 4 years, if you'll be in the same form, if you'll even be at the same club.
True.
You might be in Saudi. So a
that
big
was,
opportunity, but it's something we look forward to. And as we come to the end of the regular league season, lots of football to discuss. We'll get into. By the time we meet again in maybe the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking about
the
league
champions of
champions and
England.
Champions League prep, and then maybe have some more concrete discussions to have about the World Cup. But again, guys, wanted to thank you all for your time once again. Thank you for the listeners. Really appreciate it. Now the podcast is available on YouTube. We've seen an increase in our viewership, so please feel free to join us in the discussion in the comments on YouTube and let us know what you think, what you want to hear, your own take on everything that we've spoken about today. And if you have anything to say, please let us know. Reach out to us, but please engage with the podcast, and we thank you again for listening. And guys, again, thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. I'll give you
Um,
some time just to any final thoughts, and then we can call it a night.
Final
um,
thoughts. I'm picking. I'm picking PSG to demolish Arsenal.
Yes, absolutely,
I'm picking
absolutely.
PSG
I
to demolish Arsenal, and I think I see Arsenal winning the league as well. Yeah.
Unlucky,
well,
unlucky.
that's a foregone. Arsenal win the league. I mean, Pep has been done everything but hand it to them. Especially that what the 3-3 for Everton. That was horrible.
It was bad. It was bad. It's been a
And
bad
the
season.
Champions League might be a little tighter than everyone thinks. I'm taking 2-1 PSG.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be like Inter Milan last year, but if Arsenal somehow man, because the thing is I don't see Arsenal scoring more than one goal, and I also don't see
Exactly.
PSG scoring
PSG
just one goal.
was one goal. So I think it's 2-1 PSG.
So I don't say they'll score five, but I don't see PSG winning 1-0 or something. 2-1, 3-1, yes, but I don't think it'll be five. But yeah, but we'll definitely meet before that game, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, and as we get ready. So again, guys, thank you, appreciate it, and good night, everybody.
All right. Peace up.
Sir.